Hi there. So I'm just going to briefly go over what it takes to file for a corporation in the state of Indiana with the Indiana Secretary of State. So this tutorial is just a basic overview of what it takes. There's a lot of different corporation types, and we have specific tutorials for each one of them. Although many of the filing processes are the same across the board, but still we've covered all the bases. Now, if you're filing online, you'll need to do so through the in.gov website, and you'll be paying $5 less across the board than if you were filing by printing off the PDF and mailing it to the Secretary of State, which will cost you $90 for profit entities and $30 for nonprofit. So let's just get started here. How to file. First thing you're going to want to do is perform a business entity search. If you're filing online, you don't really need to worry about this because there's a name availability check within the online process. But there's a lot of corporations that actually need to file by PDF, so we totally recommend that you go to the business entity search tutorial here and find out exactly how and why this is a valuable function. Also, you might want to perform a name reservation filing. If you don't plan on filing within the next couple months, and you want to make sure that the name that you've chosen for your corporation is won't be registered by another business, you can proceed by clicking on this tutorial as well. It'll walk you through the online process. It should only cost $10 to reserve your name, which is actually super cheap. A lot of states are around 30. It's up to you. I mean, if you plan on filing pretty soon, then it's probably not necessary, especially if you have a really unique name, but it's never a bad idea. Once you finish that, once you've determined that your name is completely unique to you or probably unique to you, now notice that they don't name the reserve names in the name database, so it's not guaranteed if your name won't be rejected upon submission, but there's a pretty good chance. It'll give you a good idea. Anyway, once you figure this out, you'll be able to start your formation documents, right? Or your application for authority. Now, we've got all the different types here. We have for-profit, benefit, professional, and professional benefit corporations. Those are all the domestic profit corporations. Domestic nonprofit, we have public benefit, religious, and mutual benefit corporations. Now, all of these you can file for online, and for-profit corporations are the only ones you can do online. These other three you'll need to do by submitting the PDF, it seems. Foreign profit, we got general business corporation and professional corporation, and then foreign nonprofit is the same as domestic nonprofit. Now, if you're filing foreign, you're going to need to supply a certificate of existence, and you're going to need to do that by attaching it to your PDF that you've printed off because there is no online filing process for foreign businesses. Sorry about that. Okay, what do we have next here? Once you've completed them, you'll need to pay the filing fees. They're all listed up here, and I've already talked about those, so I'm not going to go over it again. But you can do it by credit card or through the subscription to your to the government website if you're filing online, and that'll be the end of your filing process once you've submitted your filing fee. If you've chosen to mail in or you need to mail in your formation or application documents, you'll need to attach a check or a money order, and that check or money order will need to be made out to the Secretary of State. And at this point, it's a good idea for foreign corporations to attach that certificate of existence we were talking about earlier. That needs to be issued within 60 days of your registering with the state of Indiana, and it needs to be signed by the proper authority. So probably the Secretary of State of your jurisdiction of original formation, or if you're from another country, whatever equivalent to the Secretary of State it is there. And then you can mail all these documents to this address to await processing, or await correspondence, rather. And that's all there is to it. A few tips really quick before we go here. The employer identification number for domestic businesses that have just started out, you're going to want to apply for this right away. It's free, and it'll allow you to open bank accounts, hire employees, perform any kind of financial transaction, and also the IRS will be able to identify you as a legitimate and tax withholding entity. Corporate bylaws. We have a free template for these here. It's not legally required in the state of Indiana, but it's definitely recommended because it'll probably be the only legal representation of the rules and regulations under which your corporation will operate. Um, Again, if you click on this, there's actually more information as to why you might want to incorporate that into your business. And as I said, a template that's available in both Microsoft Word and Adobe PDF. And finally, renewal. Every year, nonprofit entities will need to update the Secretary of State by submitting a business entity report. Profit corporations will only have to do that every other year. It's pretty convenient. You can do it. It's only $20 online, and it's $30 by the mail. There's actually more information. If you click here, there's a pretty detailed process, but it's actually fairly straightforward on the government website. And here, it's not as if you can just print off the form itself. There's a few other steps you have to do beforehand, but they walk through it really clearly here as well. So just click on this link if you plan on doing it by PDF and submitting in the mail, and click on here if you just plan on submitting online. If you do decide to submit through the mail, this is the address you're going to be sending it to. Pretty straightforward. I hope that was all helpful. Best of luck, guys.